All right, 6th grade math. Sorry, I had these from before. Let me erase and I will start over. This is, won't let me erase these. This is page 198 in your book. This is same vocabulary, dividend, divisor, and quotient. The quotient is the answer to the division problem. The divisor's on the outside. The dividend, I always say dividend, it's in the box, goes under the box. Now, the key concept box, there are words, but basically this is what those words, I'm summing up your key concept box with 3 words, so this is all you have to write. Over, over, and up. So I want you to check this out. Here is a division problem. What we're doing is we are dividing by a decimal number. That means the divisor this time, this number, is a decimal number. We can't divide by a decimal number. We have to make this number a whole number. So that means we have to move the decimal over until it becomes a whole number. So we're going to move it over 1 place. So that's the first over, okay, is to make the divisor a whole number. And the second over is to move the decimal in the dividend the same. So we go over 1, and the decimal comes straight up. So this right here is the decimal. So we moved it over 1, and up. Now sometimes you might go over 2. If you go over 2, you go over 2 on the inside, and you bring it up. And we'll do those in the example as we're seeing. So you would then just go and divide. This now is a 25. 25 goes into 37 once, which is 25. It's 12, bring down that. 5 quarters makes $1.25, and it comes out exact. So 1.5. All right, so let's do some of these. It says rewrite the division problem so the divisor is a whole number. So here is our 183 divided by 2.5. This has to be a whole number, so I go over 1, and up. Then you would just divide. It's not asking us to divide, it just wants us to rewrite it. And it talks about multiplying your numbers, but just remember over, and up. And that's what we came up with. Okay, so this would be 3 divided by 0.15. Okay, so we go over until this is a whole number. So notice this time we got to go over 2 because it's got to go, in order for it to be a whole number, it's got to go all the way over to the box. And we have to move this one over 2 also. Well, where's the decimal on 3? It's on the back side of it, on its behind. So we move this 2 also. Boom, boom. So we have to add those 2 zeros and bring it straight up. So we end up with 300 divided by 15. Okay. So guided practice, rewrite the division problem so the divisor is a whole number. So we go over 1, and straight up. So it's 56 divided by 7. Over 1, straight up. So we have 45.6 divided by 38. Now this one, over 2, because we got to make that a whole number, it's going to be 14 over 2 straight up. So now that's 84 divided by 14. Over 2, add your 0, so it's going to be 6,250 divided by 25. Now look at this one, over 1, 2, 3. Remember the decimal's got to get all the way over to the bar. That's going to become 133. Move this one 3, 1, 2, 3, bring it straight up. So it's going to be 66.5 divided by 133. Okay, now we don't have to divide on these. They're just telling us to rewrite the division problem. So this one I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3 to make that 38. Now where's the decimal on 171? On its behind, so we got to move it. Remember, over 3. Whatever you do to the outside, you got to do to the inside, and then you bring your decimal straight up. And then you would just go and divide. So it's 171,000 divided by 38. So example 2, find the quotient. 0.88 divided by 1.6. So we move this over 1, straight up. Now we just pretend like that's a 16. 16 won't go into 8. 16 into 88, let's start with 5. Look at that, that's going to be 80, so that's good. We can't stop until that's a 0. We add our 0, bring it down, and look at how nice that comes out to be, because it will go 80 exact. Over and up, divide, there it is. 30 divided by 0.02. So we're going to go over 2, put your decimal in there, over 2, and straight up. Now it's just 2 into 3,000. Goes in there once, goes in there 5 times, which is 10. All these zeros, since they're part of the number, you have to put zeros on the top because we ended up with a 0 down here, and we were done. There's those zeros. See, it says sometimes you need to write zeros as placeholders in the quotient. Find the cost per pound of the pumpkin discussed at the top of page 198. Oh my gosh, what are those people doing in those pumpkins? There is, it says, at a pumpkin patch, you chose a pumpkin weighing 9.5 pounds and pay $4.75. What is the cost per pound of the pumpkin? Okay, so what's the cost per pound is you need to divide the cost, $4.75, by the pound, 9.5. Okay, we can't divide by a decimal, so we go over 1, and straight up. 95 won't go into 47. Let's see, 95 times, let's try 4, 38. 95 times 5, 5 carry the 2, that 45, 46, 47. Check that out. That'd be 475. 0 left over. Now, remember, decimal money, they want cost per pound, and that's money. Money has 2 decimal places, so we have to add a 0. So that pumpkin is costing us 50 cents per pound. And they're doing it there. And they talked about, look at down here on the bottom, they talked about money in 2 decimal places. So that's why we added the 0. Okay? So number 7, guided practice. Divide and round your answer to the nearest tenth. And the answers are on there, I'm sorry. Let's just go ahead and divide that. That's going to go over 1, and straight up. 2 goes into 9 4 times, which is 8. Subtract 19. 2 goes into 19 9 times, which is 18. Subtract. Add another 0 to bring it down. 2 goes in there 5 times. So the tenth is this number, the 9. The 5 says it goes up, which makes it go up to 5.0. Okay, so we divide this one. We go over 1, straight up. So when we take, this is a 13 now, 13 into the, let's see, 13 times 5 is 65, 13 times 6 is 78, oh shoot, look how close that was. So we got to go 5, which is 65, 11, bring down the 9, 119, let's try 9, 7, carry the 2, 117, that's going to be a 2. Add a 0, bring it down, because we've got to round to the tenth, so there's the tenth, we need 1 more to the right of it. It goes in there once. That's not enough to round it up, so the answer is 5.2. You guys, why do I mess up? That is not a 2 right there, that is a 9. It goes in there 9 times. Shoot. So then yes, the answer is 5.9. I am sorry. Ooh, that's bad. All right, we move this 2 over, 1, 2, 1, 2. Bring your decimal straight up. 28 won't go into 25. 28 into 255. Let's try 7, 6, carry the 5, 14, 19. 224. 28 times 9 is 2. Carry the 7. 18. 252. Excuse me. Goes in there 9 times, which we'll see. As good as I'm doing, I might be wrong. 252. Subtract. Bring down that 0. 28 goes in there once, which is a 2. Add your zeros. We got to go to the 10th, so we'll add 2 zeros. Bring that down. That's supposed to be a 2. 28 won't go into 2, so we bring down another 0. And 28 goes into 196 7 times. The 7 is enough to make that number go up. 91.1. And you know, I'm dividing. I know it makes it seem so easy, but it does take the steps. Over 1, straight up. 95 into 630. Let's try 95 times 6 because it's close to 100. 57. So it's got to go 6 times. And I know I got to round to the 10th, so I'm going to put those 2 zeros in. 570. That would be 60 left over. Bring it down. 95 times 5. 95 times 6. 570. Oh, why did I do that? I need to quit this, and I need to go home tonight. It's getting late, I guess. Bring that one down. 95 goes into 300 3 times. 285. 3 is not enough to round it up, so it would be 6.6. I think it's 6.6. Yeah, they don't have the decimal. It is a point right there. That's a typo on their part. Okay, the last guided, or one of the guided practice, you paid $10.17 for 3.4 pounds of dried fruit. What was the cost per pound? So you take the cost and divide it by the pounds. Over 1, straight up. That's going to go in there 3 times 102. Oh, shoot. 102. 2 carry the 1. Sure enough, 102. Not. It's too much. So get rid of that. So it can only go in there 2 times, which is 69. Excuse me, 68. It's going to be a 3. A 3. Bring down the 7. 34 times 4. Oh my goodness. It's going to be a big one. 6, carry the 3. 306. That's what it's. 9 times. 31. Add a 0. About 2. One more place for money. 310. It goes in there about 9 again. About $2.99 a pound is what that cost is. There we go. You pay $5.21 for 7,500 yards of fabric. How much per yard? Over 2, and up. 75. 375. 75 times 7. Ooh, look at that. So it's going to be 6. 0, carry the 3, 42, 43, 44, 45, 450. That's a 1. That's going to be a 7. Bring it down. It's going to go in there. Let's try 9. 675. And that's going to be a 5, 6, 3, 5, 350, which is going to be about 4 or 5, about $6.94. I bet it's going to round up a little bit. Yep, $6.95. So for the money, if you're rounding money, you should always round your money to the 100th, because money has 2 decimal places. Okay, so I know that's not the funnest, it's a little tough, so if you have questions, please ask, and I will help you figure out what's going on. All right, talk to you later.